If you or someone you know has an internet addiction, a smartphone addiction, a social network addiction, online gaming addiction, YouTube addiction, or any other type of phone or computer addiction, learn how to beat them all and win. Sit back and watch this video to the end. You'll learn how your addiction is not an accident. You were actually targeted by rich billionaires, and they have you hooked. You'll learn how to kick the habit once and for all and radically change your life for the better. Let's begin.
Hello and welcome to our channel. We work hard to provide the most interesting information that we believe will be important to you. So we truly hope that you will find the following exclusive content to be of great value and that you will share it with your family and friends. Let's watch.
A warning about Facebook and what some believe it's doing to kids. The warning comes from two of the company's earliest executives.
We kind of knew something bad could happen.
Chamath Palihapitiya, a former Facebook executive once in charge of user growth, now says he has tremendous guilt about the social network he helped build.
We have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works.
And it's influencing the next generation. Studies show 92% of teens go online daily, and 1 in 5 young people regularly wake up in the night to send or check messages on social media.
People need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works.
America understood that hurting people in order to get rich was wrong. Doing it on purpose is criminal. All of which raises serious questions tonight about Silicon Valley, about what their products are doing to this country, particularly to children, and how much tech executives know about the potential harm caused by what they're selling. Already, psychiatric research has produced some ominous findings on this. Social media use is connected to anxiety, depression, and social maladjustment, particularly among adolescents. The more time kids spend online, the unhappier they are. Data from the CDC show that suicide rates for teen girls in America are at a 40-year high, and they're way up for teen boys as well. Does technology play a role in those deaths? And for that matter, in a number of other serious pathologies that appear to be rising in America? Sean Parker seems to think so. Parker is not a research scientist. He's even more authoritative on this subject. He was Facebook's first president, and he helped design that website. Parker just gave a remarkable interview to a reporter from Axios, in which he admits that he and other Facebook founders knew from the very beginning they were creating something harmful and addictive.
We need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. It's a social validation feedback loop. It's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. And I think that the inventors, creators, and it's me, it's Mark, it's Kevin Systrom at Instagram, it's all of these people, understood this consciously, and we did it anyway.
This is a bombshell. Imagine if the Sackler family, makers of the painkiller OxyContin, admitted they knew their product was likely to addict millions of Americans to opiates, but, quote, did it anyway. Now, that's pretty much exactly what happened with OxyContin, by the way. But so far, the Sacklers have been wise enough not to say so in public. Sean Parker isn't quite so guarded. In his conversation with Axios, Parker repeatedly describes Facebook like an addictive drug, which, of course, functionally it is. When he and his partners designed their product, Parker says they kept one question in mind, quote, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? The answer they found was with a steady stream of dopamine hits to your brain in the form of likes, comments, and new posts. Parker acknowledges Facebook has become an epidemic that is devastating this country. Quote, it literally changes your relationship with society and each other, he said. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. Let that sink in. Imagine how you would feel if you actually believed you had injured the brains of millions of children. Sean Parker does not seem especially concerned by this. In fact, in his interview with Axios, he brags about how rich it has made him. Quote, "Because I'm a billionaire, I'm going to have better access to health care," Parker said. "I'm going to be like 160, and I'm going to be part of this class of immortal overlords. You know the expression about compound interest? Give us billionaires an extra 100 years, and you'll know what wealth disparity looks like."
For over 10 years, I was addicted to playing video games. This addiction affected many areas of my life, including being a major influence in my decision to drop out of high school at the age of 15. Eventually, my parents got on my case to get a job, so I got one. I say got because I pretended to have a job for months. Every morning at 7 a.m., my dad would drop me off at the restaurant where I was a prep cook. After he drove off, I'd walk across the street and catch the bus back home, sneaking in through my window and going to sleep. I had been up all night playing video games. The truth is, I didn't want to do these things. I just did. The addiction controlled the behavior.
I often ask undergraduates how many hours a day you waste or how many hours a week you waste. And the classic answer is something like 4 to 6 hours a day. You know, inefficient studying, watching things on YouTube that not only do you not want to watch, that you don't even care about, that make you feel horrible about watching after you're done. That's probably 4 hours right there. You know, you think, well, that's 25 hours a week. It's 100 hours a month. That's 2.5 full work weeks. It's half a year of work weeks per year. And if your time is worth $20 an hour, which is a radical underestimate, it's probably more like 50 if you think about it in terms of deferred wages. If you're wasting 20 hours a week, you're wasting $50,000 a year. And you are doing that right now. And it's because you're young, wasting $50,000 a year is a way bigger catastrophe than it would be for me to waste it, because I'm not going to last nearly as long. And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you?
The generation that we call the millennials, they were told that they were special all the time. They were told that they could have anything they want in life just because they want it. So you take this group and they graduate school and they get a job. They find out they're not special. Their moms can't get them a promotion. And by the way, you can't just have it because you want it, right? And in an instant, their entire self-image is shattered. And so you have an entire generation that's growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations. We know that engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine. That's why when you get a text, feels good, right? So, you know, we've all had it where you're feeling a little bit down or feeling a bit lonely, and so you send out 10 texts to 10 friends, you know, hi, 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 because it feels good when you get a response, right? Right? It's why we count the likes. It's why we go back 10 times to see if my Instagram is growing slower, did I do something wrong? Do they not like me anymore, right? The trauma for young kids to be unfriended, right? Because we know when you get a hit of dopamine, which feels good. It's why we like it. It's why we keep going back to it. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly, highly addictive, right? We have age restrictions on smoking, gambling, and alcohol, and we have no age restrictions on social media and cell phones, which is the equivalent of opening up the liquor cabinet and saying to our teenagers, hey, by the way, this adolescence thing, if it gets you down. But that's basically what's happening. That's basically what's happening, right? That's basically what happened. You have an entire generation that has access to an addictive, numbing chemical called dopamine through social media and cell phones as they're going through the high stress of adolescence. Why is this important? Almost every alcoholic discovered alcohol when they were teenagers. When we're very, very young, the only approval we need is the approval of our parents. And as we go through adolescence, we make this transition where we now need the approval of our peers. Very frustrating for our parents, very important for us. It allows us to acculturate outside of our immediate families into the broader tribe, right? It's a highly, highly stressful and anxious period of our lives, and we're supposed to learn to rely on our friends. Some people, quite by accident, discover alcohol and numbing effects of dopamine to help them cope with the stresses and anxieties of adolescence. Unfortunately, that becomes hardwired in their brains, and for the rest of their lives, when they suffer significant stress, they will not turn to a person, they will turn to the bottle. Social stress, financial stress, career stress, that's pretty much the primary reasons why an alcoholic drinks, right? What's happening is because we're allowing unfettered access to these dopamine-producing devices and media, basically it's becoming hardwired, and what we're seeing is as they grow older, too many kids don't know how to form deep, meaningful relationships. Their words, not mine. They will admit that many of their friendships are superficial. They will admit that their friends, that they don't count on their friends, they don't rely on their friends, they have fun with their friends, but they also know that their friends will cancel on them if something better comes along. Deep, meaningful relationships are not there because they never practice the skill set, and worse, they don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their lives, they're not turning to a person, they're turning to a device, they're turning to social media, they're turning to these things which offer temporary relief. We know, the science is clear, we know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people who spend less time on Facebook.
It literally changes your relationship with society, with each other. It probably interferes with productivity in weird ways. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. Parker calls Facebook's likes and comments a, quote, little dopamine hit that encourages people to contribute more content to the site. Earlier this year, Tristan Harris, a former Google engineer, told 60 Minutes that Silicon Valley companies have a whole playbook of techniques to keep people on their apps as long as possible.
My name's JC. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Dash. Justin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I just really quickly want to have a chat, tell you what happened to me. When I was 21 years old, driving home from my college graduation ceremony, driver on his phone was so distracted, he turned left into the intersection at a red light. Another car, an 18-wheeler, swerved to miss him and hit my family's car. And the resulting collision actually killed both of my parents. I spent 2 months in the hospital fighting for my own life, and then 2 more months in a rehab hospital, learning how to walk again, learning how to speak again, learning how to dress myself and how to feed myself. I live with a partially paralyzed body. I didn't have my daddy to walk me down the aisle when I got married.
It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
Everything you want you can have instantaneously, except job satisfaction and strength of relationships. There ain't no app for that.
It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are.
And we did it anyway.
If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. But everybody else has to soul search a little bit more about what you're willing to do, because your behaviors, you don't realize it, but you are being programmed.
Now you know that you were targeted for addiction by rich billionaires, and they knew it was going to be harmful to you. The first step for you to conquer your addiction is to acknowledge all of your addictions with your phone and the internet. Then you can begin your journey to conquer each and every one of your addictions. Write down all of your addictions, whether it is social network addictions, gaming addictions, combinations, whatever it is, write them down so you know how to conquer them. Then make a commitment in writing to ending your addictions, each and every one of them. Remove triggers that you know cause your addictions to kick in, whatever they may be, notifications, whatever it may be. Eliminate those triggers so that you do not get addicted again. And if needed, seek professional help. Once you have written down, acknowledged, and made your commitment to end your addictions, then you need to replace your addictions with good mental, physical, and spiritual lifestyle changes. Now that you will no longer be wasting hours and hours each day with those terrible addictions, now write down your goals that will replace those hours as far as your mental, intellectual, physical, nutritional, fitness, spiritual, financial, and other goals. Write them down and complete your plan of action to execute and achieve your goals. We at Wisdom.Vision believe that everyone has a special purpose in life, and we show you how to use specific tools and resources to discover your purpose and also take action to achieve your purpose in life. Commit to a total changeover Everything that is wrong because of your addictions will be replaced with good actions. Also, it is vitally important to take on something bigger than yourself. Consider helping others to break their addictions, and also take a helping hand in helping people throughout the world in need. There you have it. Now you know that you were targeted for addiction by rich billionaires, and you also know there is help, that you can overcome these addictions and change your life for the better. You also see the need for everyone you know to get this information, so please share it freely on every social network, via email, and every other means possible. Also, please join us at www.Wisdom.Vision, where you can receive tools and resources to help you with your freedom journey.
Thank you for watching. Please like this video now and share it freely with others. Connect with us on the major social networks and check out the other details listed below. To keep receiving great content like this, please subscribe to our channel now. Thanks again.